again, everybody. Easy for me to say, by the way. Welcome again to Frenemies of the People by CBL. We're commercial free, even if Tasty Delicious Diet Coke, that's the wrong side, the label is this way, dropped bundles of money in my driveway, or Wally's backed up the truck and dropped a ton of beef jerky on us. I'm not sure we would accept their sponsorship, at least not until we talk to our accountants, because no one likes paying taxes. We want to make sure that we accept those gifts just right. That's Eleni, that's Patrick, I'm Dennis. Grace Draws Stuff is our producer, so she also produces stuff. We have a lot to cover in the news and the politics of our corrupt city and our corrupt big state. And of course, we have Sounds Terrible, Can't Wait coming up at the end of this. Eleni, I've been told that the biggest news we have to cover is too terrible. And it's hard to find news that isn't terrible. But I thought that we would start with the fact that Chicago-style corruption and patronage has now spread to the Vatican. So Eater has published an investigative story. I'm reading here from Eater's piece that ran late last week. In one of the most unexpected partnerships in recent memory, two Chicago hospitality heavyweights are teaming up on a project with the Vatican. Celebrity chef Art Smith, James Beard Award winner, former chef to Oprah, and restaurateur Phil Stefani, OG Chicago restaurateur, still going strong here in town. They've been selected to open a restaurant, and I'm going to butcher this name, Borgo Laudato Si, which is a papal estate outside of Rome. And it was announced last week as part of a broader inauguration of the property, 135-acre property at the Pope visits quite frequently. So we're going to turn that into like a Chicago-style Disney. And it is going to draw on influences from Chicago and Peruvian flavors in honor of the Pope's heritage in Chicago and time that he spent in Peru in his ministry. So here we go, Chicago politics. It knows no bounds, Eleni.
Yeah, I mean, I saw that headline come over the weekend, and I just had that exact thought of, how did that happen? And was there a process for applications? And who was beat out? Who were the other folks that maybe wanted to be a part of this? Because it feels like this has never happened before, I'm guessing. I don't have a lot of research into it yet, but it's just very interesting how it came together. And I'd also like a taste test if we can try it before they open their doors.
I mean, I think we should try to get on the media list for the taste opening. I think that'd be a good idea.
Do you think like the Vatican is like going to blast out the opening in their media advisories?
Right.
And obviously there will be a blessing.
We're an influential podcast. Our viewers are mighty in their spheres of influence. So if they would like positive reviews amongst all the government officials who are traveling to Rome, we're here. We're available. Taste tests are willing to try.
Yeah, let's do it.
I just love that this was a no bid.
It must have been.
As I was told when I worked at City Hall many moons ago, but I think it still probably holds true. There was an effort to have 100% bidding at the Chicago airport system. And we were told by a close advisor of the mayor at the time, you don't understand. 100% don't mean 100%. So anyway, these are two great brands to be associated with. So 100% that it's going to be pretty delicious, I'm thinking. In other weird news of the cat sleeping with dogs category, former Republican Congresswoman, not so much even a frenemy of the current president of the United States, was at the Northwestern Pritzker School of Law on Friday, where she spoke with a executive from GCM Grosvenor, another big Chicago company, investment financial firm. And she said that, quote, it's crucially important. This is according to Illinois Playbook, Politico, so we know it must be true. It's crucially important for the Democrats, much as I disagree with a number of policies that the Democrats espouse, that they win. I mean, what in the heck is going on, Skarr? What, much as she disagreed, what does she agree with Democrats other than they should win? And she's probably done a better job of making the argument for them to win than they are right now.
Yeah, I mean, it's no secret that the opposition to Trump is palpable, and time after time you can poll test items, and if some of the policies are generally 20-30% more positive than when it's associated with the president. But we also have the Democrat Party at historically low enthusiasm levels in a lot of their surveys. They're always traditionally more favorable than Republicans and so forth. So I think it's something Carville and others continue to come out with. We need to sharpen messages. We need to talk like real people. We need to explain how our policies are going to cut through. And there should be opportunity. Midterms are always a historic opportunity to make up a lot of ground. But, just being against the incumbent president may not be a winning coalition come November of 2026. So, time will tell. But I think all of this imploring, we have to do something different. We have to do something different. It has to be communicated in a way that says, here's how your life is going to be different from what you're seeing today, and not always these obtuse theories of what they might teach at Northwestern undergraduate and poli-sci courses. These policies have real impact. You got to communicate that impact to the people.
Well, we'll see how they do now that they have the endorsement of Lynn Cheney. Certain things.
Also, it's historical. Like, in what universe 5 years ago was that event not going to attract protesters from within Northwestern? and now it's like totally socialized. Oh yeah, here we go. I mean, it is amazing in 20 years the rehabilitation of the Bush Cheney family brands. It's just remarkable.
One thing that never changes, Lenny, is taxes. And they always only seem to go in one direction.
Seems like there's not enough. We always need more.
We need more taxes. So, A.D. Quigg, our friend over at the Chicago Tribune, who we love A.D., a good reporter, very old school byline. I love that. It's like, something that you expect to come over via telegram from the Paris bureau. But anyway, A.D. Writes, quote, Assessor Fritz Kagi has clearly improved the fairness of Cook County's property tax system over his 2 terms, according to a new study, crediting his office with reversing problems that led to the overvaluation of lower-priced homes and the undervaluation of high-priced homes. This is according to the University of Chicago's Mansueto Institute for Urban Innovation. I'm sure that business leader Joe Mansueto loves having his name associated with any kind of study about Fritz Kagi. So Fritz Kagi is our assessor, and the actual details of the study and the report, and it's something that even AI might find confounding. Only the Skarr Data Lab might really be able to get to the bottom of this. But the study's director was acknowledging of the fact that there's going to be some skepticism of his findings. He tells AD, how can Kagi be making assessments more fair when my tax bill is going up? And of course, this is always the age-old problem for assessors. They assess the value of commercial and residential properties, and then the taxing bodies are the ones that actually jack up your taxes.
Mhm.
The assessors simply take a look at whether your property values are going up. And fortunately or unfortunately, property values tend to go up in the Chicagoland area. And oddly enough, the middle class and lower income communities had their properties assessments go up the highest, according to this study. But there has also been some pushback. The Cook County Democrat Party, Eleni, for example, did not endorse the incumbent assessor for reelection, and they've brought another Hines out of the woodwork, nephew of former long ago assessor Tom Hines, is running. His name is Pat Hines. He's from Lyons Township, and he has some experience in this area. And he points to the what he says was overassessment in suburban areas. The commercial and building owners are ballistic, and this problem is so bad that even Cook County government tried to have a study with some new recommendations on how to assess commercial properties or review commercial properties. So I don't know. It's just a big old mess, Eleni, but
Yeah.
we're going to keep paying taxes no matter what.
Yeah. I mean, I think, there's a lot of folks out there that know this is a problem. I mean, I've personally have been violated by this as of late and am working to fix my problem. But yes, especially, we've seen in the South suburbs, Harvey, where we're seeing just these property tax bills that are unsustainable. And, I think likely the assessor's, as you said, strategy is to assess the values, not dictate what folks will be paying. But I think this is going to have to require a much more collaborative approach to find the right solution. And there's not going to be like well, let's just do this and this will fix everything. We're talking decades upon decades of evaluations that weren't probably accurate. And so I think there has to be a middle ground of how this gets solved in order to make it right for everyone.
I mean, late last year, the hotels on Michigan Avenue, which are still recovering from the double whammy of COVID and then inflation, had triple digit increases in their assessment. Not double, triple digit.
Mm-hmm.
The downtown office buildings are assessed at very high levels, even though many of them are more than half empty still. So, good luck to the assessor and the wannabe assessors, and to all of our friends who are property tax appeals lawyers. Will be good for them. They should be sending Fritz a plant and maybe some chocolates and other emoluments.
In those Disney movies and the fairy tales, everybody loved the property tax assessor. When he would walk around, that was the most popular person in all of those medieval times. The king has spoken, and I'm here for the bounty, so thank you very much. I'm surprised as many people running for mayor aren't running for the assessor job, given how popular a position that is in society.
That's an excellent point. Like, why would you run for assessor? To be hated? You don't get enough.
I'm saving that commentary to myself.
Well, we've waited a long time for this, but
you've got mail.
It's time for reader mail. So, we recently announced that all you have to do is drop a line to Frenemies by CBL at gmail.com, and you could tell us what you really think. So, North Shore Jogger identifies herself, him or herself, as North Shore Jogger, wrote to us, "You were like a spork, a confusing and useless utensil that nobody is happy to receive. If you were a state, you would be Delaware." So that's a little feedback for Frenemies. On the other hand, a viewer named SVZ told us that Diet Coke, she's giving us a little pitch for Diet Coke, who, like I said, we don't really want their sponsorship. That feeling you hear when you hear the crack of the can, sweat running down the sides, the tickle in the back of your throat as the elixir ascends the red and white straw. I don't use a straw with my Diet Coke. I mainline it.
Definitely not plastic straws, though.
Yeah, that would be wrong.
Microplastics.
But she said this podcast is just like the drink, wakes you up, makes you smile, and powers you through whatever you're doing. And Shay from The Shy writes, I love Frenemies. I look forward to it popping up on my feed. Most recently, The Sounds Terrible really struck a chord with me. Oh, we like to keep our viewers happy. So we've always got something that sounds terrible, for sure. Before we do that, though, I thought another terrible thing that we could talk about would be what you're reading these days, to the extent that you have any time to read. So let's let our listeners get to know and love the cast members of Frenemies of the People. And anything good that you're reading these days, Eleni?
I just finished reading Little Liar by Mitch Albom.
That seems appropriate.
Actually, for many reasons is appropriate, but we'll save that commentary. Is about World War II and Greek Jews during the Holocaust, and how they had to deal with the Holocaust and everything that was happening to them in Greece. Obviously, if no one knows, I'm Greek, so that hit a chord, especially in the part of Greece that it takes place, where there was predominantly large Jewish population, is where my dad's from. And so it's just interesting to see how, most people just assume like all Greeks are Christian and they're all Greek Orthodox, but there's actually a pretty large Greek Jewish population in Greece now too, in that same area. So it's Mitch Albom's a fantastic writer. And so the book just really, I read it cover to cover. Well, that's how I read all my books. But
oh, that's great.
It is a fascinating read for folks, just to see like a different version of history that occurred in another country. But yeah,
he is a great writer. And he started off as a sports writer too.
My positively uplifting reads.
The Holocaust,
World War II and the Holocaust. Yeah,
that's good. That keeps you in that positive, sunny state that we've all come to know and love.
Always does.
Patrick?
I recently was reorganizing some books, and so for me, I found my copy of Team of Rivals, and I thought now would be an interesting time to. I'm not saying I'm reading it 100% like I did the first time, but some of the more interesting chapters, in particular, amongst the fights of the Treasury team and those others at that time, just because I do find it interesting. And while we're doing book reviews or commentary, to any of our listeners who haven't heard me say this before, in 2016, when Trump was taking office or ascending into the political mainstream, suggested reading Every Man a King by Huey Long. And I still think that take and mindset of communicating and understanding history and how to just view populism and a very powerful personality remains as true as ever. And then finally, the other book I did read this weekend with the boys was The Constitution for Babies. And, it's amazing that when you try to explain some things that way, that sometimes you're like, perhaps that book should be mandatory reading for some of the talking heads that appear on talk shows that just talk past each other left and right and probably couldn't tell you an article from a separate article.
There certainly is a lack of civics education in schools today. But I also think that you need to expose the boys to something maybe a little cooler before they have to go to school, so they're not immediately having the volleyball thrown at their head.
Mm-hmm.
Never know.
Um, Speaking of teams of rivals, one of the few rivals of the current administration, probably even several sub basements below frenemy status, is Elon Musk. And just before the most recent election, Walter Isaacson, who's an excellent writer, wrote a pretty massive biography of Elon with his cooperation. I'm about three-quarters of the way through it. I'm having trouble finishing it, not because it's not really well written. It is. You move through it pretty quickly because it's so well written. He's just not likable at all. It's like the last thing I want to do sometimes to hear more about this guy. But anyway, I guess I just blew our sponsorship from Elon. So SpaceX or Twitter. Sorry about that.
But you know
All
who
right,
else was particularly likable was Steve Jobs. I mean, we do, and that's another Isaacson book, right? Like, I mean, Jobs made it no secret to not be the nicest guy at the campus, and right, he intentionally parked in the disabled parking spaces and all these things. And sometimes these eccentric inventors are rather eccentric and inventors and don't play by traditional societal norms and rules.
I guess that most of them are in that category. It's an excellent point. All right. This has been a very serious corner of book notes. What's that C-SPAN show that you and the boys watch, Patrick?
Oh, it's called Book TV, Mr. Culleton, starring the Brian Lamb. He has since retired, and we wish him well in his retirement. Book TV.
Well, let's go to Sounds Terrible. Can't wait. Producer Grace, you know the sound. Okay. So I'm going to start. Here's what sounds terrible. And I can wait, but I have to live through it. September baseball. It's killing me. The Cubs have everybody who's great winding up on the injured list. One of our best hitters and fielders, PCA, fouls a ball off his own leg. Our other hitter, Kyle Tucker, just randomly comes up with some calf strain and looks like he can't even walk. And then our pitcher just threw his arm off the other day, our relief pitcher. So September baseball's killing me. The stinking Brewers will hardly even lose. And we've got to get in as the top seed wild card with the Cubs. But, I've got too many years of experience of having the Cubs lead me to the cliff, except for that one magical year of 2016. So I just need to survive September baseball, and it's terrible. What do you got, Scar?
My sounds terrible is actually quite positive this week, and it is that both our kids are enrolling in their school program. So back to school has come a little bit later for the Scar household than everywhere else, but they are extremely excited for all of those wonderful activities, hence reading Constitution for Babies. But what is an interesting opportunity is the innumerable get-togethers that come from school resuming and all of those things. It seems like you can't go 3 days without a get to know you celebration for all the various folks. But they're both at the same school this year, cutting down on the number of days we have to go forth and see school programs and those other things. But they are wonderful experiences. The kids are all finally back in school, and it couldn't come at a better time.
That does seem like a thing of nothing but nonstop parent get-togethers and orientations that did not happen when my children were going to school. It was just go to school, and then I would go to work. But
See, I wouldn't know. No one invites me to those things. So
maybe it's just you, Patrick, because they know you might whip out that pocket Constitution.
I'm not, this isn't a joke. I did order the kids their own version of the Cato Pocket Constitution because I found mine in my home office, and I'm like, well, I'm going to bring that here, but I should get them their own so that they can have it. But
Everyone should have their own.
It's always, I think you
Constitution.
spy on me because you saw me moving my Pocket Constitution yesterday, obviously.
I
What could be
mean,
more terrible than that?
I was just gonna say my sounds terrible is now that Patrick's reading his children excerpts of the Constitution, which is yeah, yeah, that's really a lot to
For the
process.
kids.
I would say my sounds terrible. It's been like this for the last 2 weeks. Is doing homework. This is our first year where we actually have homework, and I have officially turned into my parents who are telling a 6-year-old, I don't understand why you don't get what this says. This is how it's done. Why don't you get this? I can't go another minute. That's it. We're not doing this anymore. So I'm very close to just filling out these things myself to make it go by faster. But I would say it's Monday and our homework comes home on Monday. So I am very much dreading what's in store for us this week. And yeah, it's pretty terrible.
Wait,
I actually
you're
can't think
talking
of
about
something.
why they have homework. It's we didn't
Yeah.
have homework. This is all part of the big school. We haven't talked enough about big school. It's really whether it's big Pepsi or Coke or all these things, but clearly big school is really a problem.
Big
Oh,
school
yeah.
lobby. Yeah, we don't want to see Eleni get homicidal because of homework. But
I
it
mean,
could
my kids
happen.
I can't do it. So, I mean, we haven't even gotten to math yet. So I'm in for it.
Could do homeschool.
I'm the one who's going to get schooled. I will get schooled at the homeschool.
Well, if it's terrible, it's Frenemies of the people. Don't forget to send us your viewer mail. We want to know what sounds terrible to you. It's frenemiesbycbl@gmail.com. I'm Dennis, that's Eleni, that's Patrick, producer Grace is our producer, and we will talk to you next time.